something that I noticed about Arthur, in some ways, The Bright Sword is a very traditional Arthur book in that we encounter all the favorite tropes. I'm an Arthur fanboy myself, so we needed to have a sword and a stone. We need to have the quest for the Grail, Lady of the Lake. All that stuff has to turn up. But something that when I reread the story, something resonated for me that I hadn't seen a lot of earlier stories deal with, and that's the fact that Arthur is living in what we would call now a post-colonial nation. Rome has occupied Britain for 350 years. They leave around 410. And then historically, to the extent that we think historically about Arthur, Arthur would have turned up around the turn of around the beginning of the 500, the 6th century, when Britain is still grappling with the trauma of this historical violence of having been occupied by Rome for so long, and its indigenous culture suppressed. And interestingly, Arthur is what we would think of as on the wrong side of that particular history, in that he is a Romanized Briton. He has one of the Britons who's part of the upper crust. He's taken on the ways of the occupiers. He still speaks Latin, even though the Romans are long gone. Again, this is our historical theory about who Arthur would have been. And so there is that interesting sense of layering and division within this kingdom of Britain. But I also became interested in the story of Arthur. Something that I think people take up Arthur for now has to do with this idea of nationhood. This idea that the people who are here now in this country have always been there. They have a right to this nation. We have to keep that nation pure and undivided, untainted by outsiders. And it's something to some extent that's built into the Arthur story. The earliest versions of Arthur are about a warlord trying to keep the Saxons out, trying to keep Britain, as it were, for the Britons. And of course, he fails. He can't do that. And the kingdom that results is a much more mixed kingdom. It's the Britain that we know today, with all those filthy Anglo-Saxons in it, as well as a lot of Celts and many people from many other parts of the world.